This is Boxing Tickets NI in association with SB Sports. We're here at the final press conference. Delighted to be joined with the main man, Jamie Conlan. Jamie, I think with the last time we spoke, I was asking obviously about nerves. At this stage now, does the nerves start to kick in for you? I know you're building a show and everything else on the night, but does the nerves now start to kick in for yourself?
No, not yet, no. From the fight perspective, no, the work is done. You can't get nervous now. I have to just control the controllables. From the promotional side, let Michael do his job on Saturday night. On Saturday night, I'm unable to control what happens in the ring, so that's when I get nervous, yeah.
I was speaking to your brother Brendan there obviously after the press conference, and I think he's obviously the excitable thing, and obviously I guess it's not getting too confident, not getting too sort of complacent obviously on the thoughts of victory. I guess as a brother he's always going to want the win and everything else, but I was watching Warrington Lopez this morning and I'm quietly confident for Saturday night.
Yeah, listen, he's been studied long and hard, but it's just about doing it and perfecting on the night. You can see a lot of openings in Luis Alberto Lopez's game, and I think it's harder to do it in the ring. He makes small adjustments. His chin is in the air, but he sways with the punch and he moves his shoulder a wee bit, and it's not always easy enough to connect it. It looks easy, but I think we're in for a tough fight, no doubt about it, and that's the way Michael's prepared for it. He's prepared for the hardest fight of his life, and he's ready for the hardest fight of his life. But again, we see a lot of positives that can take from it. As you said there about Lopez and Warrington, there's a lot of things you can take from fights like that.
Well, I was there speaking to your brother Brendan as well. I was sort of saying, the Wood fight can be a blessing sort of in disguise at the fact that I remember Ryan Burnett when he won his world title, he wanted to be a world champion, and then when it became a world champion, he was like, is this it? That feeling of sort of emptiness. Whereas Michael's having to do it in the second attempt, so it'll mean more, you'll get probably more of a reaction from him because it'll mean a lot more because it's come the second time around. Is that the sort of feeling for you as well? Obviously the fact that the second time around will feel even better, obviously after what he's been through, he would.
Listen, I really want him to win the first time around, so it's no real difference for me. I think the second time around he's learned from the first time. So what I take from the first fight, the Lee Wood fight, is just a lot of things in the build-up, a lot of things in approach mentally, emotionally, how kind of invested he was in the fight and not really focusing on what he had in hand. And then what I seen after it, how he rebuilt in the gym, how he was able to jump straight in with a puncher as like Miguel Mariaga is, and really seen there that this guy will be world champion. There was a lot that I took from that decision to go with Mariaga so quickly after Lee Wood, where Lee Wood hadn't fought and Mick had had 2 fights before Lee Wood had even had 1. It showed a testament to him, his character, his mentality, what he'd learned, what he'd faced, how he adjusted and adapted to the mistakes made in the Wood fight.
We know obviously when it's seen you obviously in ringside for fights, you're jumping about as if you're in the fight. I don't think it's the same with all the fighters you have. Obviously winning on Saturday night, I'd say it's tops off. You're in the ring, you're going crazy. We've seen you in Germany sort of doing parts of that as well with Paddy. What's the special plans? Are you sort of everything off and get in the ring?
Oh, listen, I act on emotional charge, Paddy. And I think that's the kind of way where I like to have an involvement with the fighters we work with, is that it has to be emotional for me. It has to have a connection like that. And, not every time you're going to get me jumping around, because I expect certain movements and certain things that happen in different fights. But like the likes of Paddy, we were up against it in Germany, so that emotional charge came out here on Saturday. Lee Wood against Mega, different things like that. You have, tendencies to kind of jump about. There is different emotional positions for the fight, and whatever. Like I'm just very excited to see what we have in store. I think we're really in for a treat on Saturday night. Luis Alberto Lopez is one of the toughest fighters to come to these shores, and we've had some great ones. Nonito Donaire, Kiko Martinez, fighters like that who have come over, Joel and Cacace, Christopher Rosales. But I think Luis Alberto Lopez is up at that level that we're really in for a test. We're really in for a treat, that both fighters that we have are highest level of elite fighters.
You've also been trying for quite a while to get obviously the big promoter to come here, and obviously to bring BT here, and obviously to even have Bob Arum here. I know he was here in 2019 for obviously the Fela. Was it the Fela card 2019? Yes. The last one he was here for. It must be a big relief for you now to know that when you can get the likes of BT here, a win from Michael on Saturday night keeps him coming. And that's what it's about. Do you feel there's added pressure? Obviously with Katie last week, obviously it's a chance for us to try and get everybody back and positive. Obviously after, and I know you were in Dublin last week, that negative was sort of come from where Irish boxing was sort of 4 defeats on the card. This week we've a chance to regrow and to rebuild, and our first male world champion in over 4 years.
I think we're in a very pivotal stage at professional boxing here in Ireland. Saturday could really kickstart something big. You know, we set out to do Conlan boxing. We knew we weren't going to be able to do it on our own. We were going to have to partner up and team up with other promoters who had major broadcasters, and that was what we had done with Top Rank, and on this occasion with Queensberry, and we've got good working relationships with George Warner and obviously with Bob and Todd and Moretti and the team and Top Rank. That we set out that's what we needed to do, and it's took us 2 or 3 years to do that, but we finally grabbed big major networks to come to Belfast, and we had to do it on our own. We had to do it on Fake TV. We had to build it, and just like the film Field of Dreams, build it and they will come. That's what we've done, and we've got a fantastic fate to bring them all here.
What a card as well. Obviously, I know you're a big fan of Pierce O'Leary. You're obviously also a big fan of Anto Cacace, obviously along with your own fighters, and obviously Paddy and Kieran and Kurt. Really good card. I can't think the last time I've seen of a fight card since the pandemic has had 12 fights on it. It nearly is like a new sort of record, because Eddie Hearn, obviously last week there were 7. Most fight cards seem to be 7 or 8 fights. This is nearly pre-COVID sort of numbers again.
No, as I said, we're in a pivotal moment in Irish boxing. Not just with Michael. Yes, Michael has to kind of win and has to carry the big flag and has to make sure big TV networks come back over. But the likes of Anto, Pierce, Paddy, 3 fighters that can potentially be next up to headline their own show. They have to impress. All 3 are on BT Sport, so they have to impress on major networks and really grab the attention for these TV companies to keep coming here. The turnout, I presume, will be sold out by, my prediction is tomorrow and potentially Friday. Or tomorrow is Friday. Tomorrow or today could be sell out, but that's what these guys needed. They need the eyeballs. They need the eyeballs here locally. They need the eyeballs across the water and across on the TV. Everyone winning here is key for the next level of fighters to carry the flag for the future here in Belfast. And I think we've got the right guys to do it. I think Anto Cacace is highly skilled. Everyone has sung his praises. We all know about the gem stories, and being with Frampton, being with Michael, being on the road and doing things do it here. He does it here on Saturday night. Potentially, he could be bringing BT Sport continuously here. Same with Pierce. I rate Pierce very highly. I've sung his praises since I've seen him in the under-22 championships. He's progressed fantastically. His mindset, is what I think can set himself apart from everyone else. I don't see anyone else with that kind of mindset, with that young, real old head on young shoulders, and the punch power. Ridiculously heavy-handed with either hand, and learning every time, and willing to learn and willing to push himself. And then I can't say enough about Paddy McCrory, outside the ring and inside the ring, but this guy can really do something here. Harry's been building along the way. Harry is with people outside the ring is a testament to how much people put into him, and spend their hard-earned money to come and watch him. I'm excited. I'm very, very excited, because we're on the cusp for a big fight for Paddy. Really are, in a fantastic and financially rewarding division. But again, really good fights are there. We 1 or 2 slipped through our fingers here for this, with Dave Morrell taking the WBA, like him getting the call up for the World Title shot. We had an eliminator with the BA and small wee things like that. But he's not affected mentally, and continued to progress in the gym and learn and adapt and move on.
Well, you're obviously saying where you're trying new things and everything else. Obviously at 9 o'clock, obviously start on Saturday night. This is, in my opinion, and obviously I know I'm always going to be biased, Irish boxing, but it's the best fight. It's there. Billum Smith and Nicole, that's something you're going to watch maybe on Sunday evening. It doesn't have the atmosphere and the attention to grab it. Obviously anybody watching these interviews obviously going to know now they're going to be tuned into it, but for anybody that might still be thinking, will I watch Wood Lara, will I watch a Coley Smith, Billum Smith, why should they be obviously tune in for the card in BT Sport?
I think as the main event alone, we have one of the best fights of the year. Intriguing, skill set ways, both of them are elite level. Relentlessness from Lopez, unpredictability from Lopez, fearlessness coming into the backyard, and then Michael, one of the most technically gifted fighters Ireland's ever produced, raiding things that the poster boy for male boxing in Ireland and the amateur scene in the Olympic Games, carrying it right through from walking out in McGregor, progressing and learning at every stage. And that fight alone is head and shoulders above all the other fights on Saturday night. I think this fight can go various different ways. Both fighters can adapt on the fly and really change how the fights can go. And then on the undercard, I think we have one of the unsung and unshown lights in terms of Anto Cacace, who really has a chance to search for superstardom here on Saturday and really grasping the audience. And further down, we have various different fighters: Pierce O'Leary, Paddy McCrory, Kurt Walker, Kieran Malloy, Fergus Quinn, Connor Quinn. Really could be the future of Irish boxing.
James Freeman as well, obviously making his debut. Over 500 tickets sold. I think he said to me yesterday over 35 grand of tickets. He's going to get the attention like Paddy probably got at the start. The fact that if you can sell tickets that early on is a promoter's dream.
Yeah, he's a club promoter himself, so he knew how to market himself really well, and definitely has something there that can really be built off the back off. So he's just got to win. He's got to learn his job, learn a trade. He doesn't have much amateur experience behind him, and he's really jumping in the deep end here on Saturday. And if he comes through it, then definitely something that can be worked on going forward.
Well, listen, thanks very much for your time as always. We'll let you enjoy the next sort of day and a half or so. We'll probably be behind you in the ring on Saturday night. I was thinking we maybe do a Stone Cold Steve Austin, get a couple of beers, go up on the top rope and go mad.
No, I've already done it as a fighter, so I don't think I would do it here, but I don't know, tumble into the ring and just go crazy, and I'm not sure. But tomorrow, 6 o'clock, something different as well, the weigh-in. Round about peak time to kind of get people in. It's bank holiday weekend. I think we're in for a really rowdy, loud, real exciting weigh-in tomorrow, and something again I'm excited for, something different. Live broadcast, Frampton hosting the broadcast, presenting the broadcast for BT Sport, going out live on ESPN in America. Really, really exciting. They don't really do that much here in the UK and Ireland, but the ceremonial stuff. But it's yeah, good.
I think we spoke about this before. Obviously, the fact that it's really good for fighters as well. Obviously, there's a lot on the brain injuries and everything else. They're giving them extra time to refuel, which obviously makes sure that they're all 100% when they're getting in the ring as well. With the IBF sort of second day weigh-in, I guess that's something new for you as a team. You fought for the IBF, didn't you?
Yeah.
But obviously for Michael, does that bring it back into his favour? Because he sort of wasn't really a big featherweight before, obviously super bantam moving up. Does that bring it back into his favour, this sort of second day weigh-in?
I'm not really sure it plays too much of a factor. I think both guys, they have 10-pound rehydration clause in the next morning, and Michael's a big featherweight, Lopez is a real stocky featherweight, so I think they'll be both grand, and I'm not really playing too much into it. It's just all part of the process. Something Michael's been doing the past 2 or 3 fights. He's been re-weighing in the next morning about 9-10 pounds, so I don't think it's seen a big issue. Yeah.
Well, listen, thanks very much for your time as always. And we'll catch you being Saturday night probably. I don't know, probably in the small arts. No matter where we are, we'll get you somewhere.
Yeah, beer in hand with the new Irish champion of the world.
Definitely. Thanks very much, Jamie.
Thank you.